Welcome to my channel. I'm Ashley, and today we are doing a lung wash or a Yin Yoga lung detoxification sequence. All of our organs are important, but the lungs are extra special because they are responsible for allowing us to breathe in the air which sustains life. And from a Chinese medicine standpoint, the lungs are actually what allow us to create things like blood. If our lungs are not working properly, it can greatly impact our quality of life and our body's ability to digest and to pull nutrients from our food to make blood and so on and so forth, because it is the precursor of all life. So it's especially important during the autumn season and right in that in-between season, to start focusing on taking care of our lungs, to do special detoxification rituals that allow our lungs to be purified and cleared for the coming autumn season. Lungs are ruled by the autumn season, so it is by no coincidence that we see a lot of lung-related disharmonies during this season in particular. So this class is designed to focus not only on the meridian of the lungs, but also on the lungs themselves. So for this practice, you will be needing a bolster, or what I have here are 2 blankets rolled up into a nice roll. So without further ado, grab your prop and we'll go ahead and get started. Begin by taking a comfortable seat, lengthening through your spine, reaching through the top of your head. Focus on taking slow, deep breaths in through the nose and out through the nose. We'll begin with Ujjayi Pranayama, victorious and uprising breath. In order to do this breathing exercise, you will need to tone the back of your throat as if you were fogging up a mirror. So you can start by inhaling through your nose, and then on your exhale, open your mouth and make a sound, keeping that tone in the back of your throat. Inhale through your nose. Now, keeping your mouth closed, keep the tone in the throat. Exhale through your nose. Nice wide resonant sound. Continue on inhaling and exhaling with that tone in your throat, widening the space between your lower jaw and the roof of your mouth. Breathing 5 to 8 counts in and 5 to 8 counts out. Try to draw the breath deep all the way down into the lowest part of your lungs, which is actually pretty far down your abdominal area. Visualizing anything stuck there, toxic buildup. You can visualize it in the form of black tar or smoke. And every time you exhale, visualizing this exiting your nose. And every inhale, visualizing a pure air, ether coming in, exhaling the dark, tarry substance coming out. Feel free to continue breathing in this way throughout your practice, or come back to a natural breath. Take a few rounds here of breathing. And gently come up onto all fours, hands and knees, for a few rounds of cat and cow. Every time you round your back, really lift your upper back toward the ceiling, tailbone forward, chin toward your chest. And every inhale, reversing the movement, lifting through your sternum, lengthening across your whole abdominal wall, back and forth. Come back to a neutral spine. Lift your knees up for a short-lived down dog. Just reaching your heels back toward the floor, pushing your hands down and forward, letting your head drop. Then separate your feet so they're about as wide as your mat. Walk your hands back slowly to your feet, bending your knees until your ribs and your thighs touch. Just drape yourself across your thighs, let your head hang heavy, maybe shake it a few times. Maybe grab onto your elbows and hang here. Feel free to swing side to side. Focus on allowing your back muscles to relax, creating space between each rib of your rib cage and each vertebrae of your spine. Keep breathing slow, deep breaths. Slowly walk your hands all the way back out. Come onto your knees, placing your knees under your hips. Walk your forearms to the floor, maybe taking them out like a little V shape, so your hands are a little wider than your elbows. And then just letting gravity push your arms forward and your head to come to the floor for melting heart. Always feel free to use props under your head or your chest or both. Just allow your upper back muscles to release so your heart starts to melt more toward the floor over time. Maybe On your exhale, allow yourself to do a audible sigh, vocal, or just the breath. Slowly lift yourself back up. Come all the way down onto your belly. Make sure there's nothing on the sides of your mat. And then take your right arm straight out to the right. And your left hand next to your chest like cobra pose. And roll onto your right hip for broken wing. Feel free to scoot your hips a little bit more forward. Feel free to lift your left leg, bend your knee, and step your foot behind or in front of you. You can add arms by taking your left arm up, pointing your palm back, bend your elbow, and rest your fingers toward the floor, relaxing as much as possible. Continuing on with your breath, slow, deep, and even. Slowly lift your left arm up. Take your hand back to the floor. Roll back to your belly. And switch sides. So your left arm is to the left, right hand next to your chest. Roll to your left side. Scoot your hips a little forward. Lift your right leg, bend your knee, and step it back. Right arm up. Point your palm back, bend your elbow, and slide your fingers toward the floor. Slowly lift your right arm up, hand to the floor, and roll back to your belly. Take yourself into Sphinx, so your elbows are slightly in front of your shoulders, hands straight ahead in front of your elbows. And just let your heart come forward, shoulders draw back. Your chin can be lifted, neutral, or head forward. Breathe here. And gently lift your head. Lower yourself down and then place your hands where your elbows were. And then come up to all fours. Take your bottom to the floor and face a long edge of your mat. Take your left knee on top of your right knee. You can always wedge something underneath for more support. For this one, you may use props to your side, elbow to the prop, or use your hand on the floor to your left. So if your left knee is on top, you'll lean to your left. Take your right arm up and then just drape it over your head. We'll hold here for a couple of minutes. Try to turn more open and breathe. If you can reach your forearm to the floor without strain, feel free to do that variation as well. Slowly lift your right arm up and gently come back up to center. Keeping your left foot outside your right knee, just point your left knee up. Place your left foot right outside your right knee and pull your right heel to your left hip. Make sure your sitting bones feel even on the floor. And then take your right elbow around the front of your left knee. Hook your fingers. And then from here, twist gently to your left. Maybe gaze to the left or close your eyes with your head turning in that direction. Gently untwist. Switch so that your left knee is on bottom and your right knee is on top. Sitting bones even. Lean to your right. Take your left arm up and over. Turn open and breathe here. Gently lift your left arm and slowly come back up to center. Take your right foot next to the outside edge of your left knee and your left heel to your right hip, sitting bones even. Wrap your left arm around your right knee, hook your fingers, and twist gently. Gently untwist. Take both of your legs straight out on your mat. And then allow your legs to relax. They can be hip distance or together. And then just fold directly over your legs for caterpillar. Feel free to use any props. I find it helpful to wedge my outer arms under my outer legs. And that just allows legs to relax without feeling strained. And just let your head drop. Slowly lift your head. Gently lift yourself up. Grab your blanket roll or bolster, and you're going to put it T-ways along your mat so that it's across the short edge, parallel to that short edge. Leave a space out behind it for your torso and your arms. We're aiming our upper backs to the bolster, so you can start above your shoulder blades on the blanket roll or bolster, and then push yourself backwards until the bolster or blanket roll is behind the bottom tips of your shoulder blades, kind of right in between your mid and upper back. You can use a block or something under your head if your head is not touching the floor. And from here, you can either have your arms out like a T, or you can take your arms, clasp your elbows with your hands, and take your arms to the floor beyond your head. Feet can go out straight. Adjust as necessary. And breathe here. Switch your arms if they're crossed one way, cross the other arm on top. Uncross your arms. Take your hands to your heart with your elbows pointing up and out. Take a few breaths here. In order to come out, bend your knees one at a time and then scoot down a little bit. You can use your hands to lift your head up. And then slide so that your bolster blanket roll is under your head and neck, maybe even slightly under your shoulders. And just let the rest of your back fall down to the floor. Take your knees together and your feet wide. Take several breaths here. You can stay here with your blanket roll under your head and neck. You can also keep your knees as they are, or rest all the way into Shavasana, taking your legs out straight, allowing your legs to fall open, your arms to go to the sides, palms face up, and just rest. Take a full breath in. Exhale with a sigh. Bring gentle movements back into your body. If you have something under your head and neck, move it out of the way. And reach through your arms and legs for a full body stretch. And gently bend your knees. Roll to one side. Slowly press yourself up to seated. Thank you so much for joining me for this practice. If you enjoyed this practice, please hit the like button. Feel free to leave a comment below. And if you haven't yet subscribed, go ahead and hit subscribe and tap the little bell icon so you never miss a class I post. Have a wonderful rest of your day.